And good afternoon. Good afternoon. This is Dr. Theodore Watkins, and welcome to another program of To Your Health. We are excited because the weather is above freezing for the first time and seemed like a long time, but we're really excited. But our vision is one of the most important senses that we have. Today, we want to talk about what we can do to keep and even improve our vision. And to do that, we have a really a part of our show, and Brother Frank is going to introduce our guest, what would you call him, Frank?
He's not a guest. He's been on here so much. I'll tell you. He's he might as well be a
regular.
A regular. That's it. Dr. Meir Schneider is the founder of San Francisco's famous School of Self-Healing. Born blind to deaf parents, Meir taught himself to see with revolutionary vision exercises. Dr. Meir is the author of several books on self-healing, the most current being Awakening Your Power of Self-Healing. Currently, he spends his time helping people overcome debilitating health problems and teaching his method to dozens of self-healing practitioners. For his current big project, and this is a long project because we got a lot of people, Dr. Meir is going to teach a revolutionary class entitled Vision for Life that will not only teach you to see better, but help others to see better as well. Is that right, Dr. Schneider?
The class I'm promoting this time, that was a class I taught last year and announced here. And of course, I will have such a class on August 4th. The class I'm talking about right now is simpler. It is for you to see better, for you to get rid of your readers or glasses with which you read in your 40s, to prevent cataracts from coming, as it happens to so many people. I would say more than 2/3 of the people. It is a class that will help you to reduce or get rid of your myopia. And that's going to be on February 22nd until February 27th. It's a 6-day class. Anyone from anywhere who wants to come to us, and we have people who are coming from Japan, people are coming from Mexico, we have people who are coming from Europe. So DC, even though it's 6-hour flight away, is next door. And so if people want to come here and be in 60 degrees or 65 degrees weather in February, I think that this is the right place to be. And it's so important that you would work on getting rid of your nearsightedness in a young age. So Dr. Watkins, I want to not waste a second and talk about the thing that concerns me the most, and one of the reasons I really want to be on this show. Because I think that you are a pioneer in bringing new ideas to the world. And what happened now is that even before the pandemic, at 219 and at 220, people already started to look too much at computers, way too much. And, when you studied medicine many years ago, people still...
Many years ago.
What? Many years ago.
Many years ago.
Many years ago. People read books. That was better than looking at phones and computers. They were more active. Things just didn't move in front of them. There were no pixels, where basically it is clearer in the center and fuzzy in the margins, while print is much more clear in the margins. So it's easier to discern for the lens and for the brain. So in your time, people read print, but already reading print caused many nearsightedness, and many people became nearsighted. But now, with computers and smartphones and tablets, people look so much from near that many of them become nearsighted. And the pandemic that caused many kids to study at home, many businesses to work from distance. And even now, people work part at the business, part from distance in many businesses that I know of. People started to lose the clarity of the vision. And it makes sense. The way you adjust into looking so much from near is you reduce the ability to see as much from far. And it is dangerous much more than people think, because high myopia, I'm not talking about regular nearsightedness, 2.5 diopters, 3 diopters. I'm talking about 7, 8, 9, 10, 12 diopters. That could lead to elongation of the eyeball, that the first most important problem that can come from it, if your retina is at all weak, it will cause retinal detachment, which could lead to blindness. That's number one, okay? That's number one. And number two, the important thing is that you could get glaucoma, you could get macular degeneration, many problems which are not easily solved by the medical profession. I'm grateful that they can reattach the retina, but I've met somebody whose retina detached 11 times in one eye and he got blind before he met me. Then when it detached twice, I worked with him and we saved the other eye. But I want to say that it is so important for us to work on nearsightedness, farsightedness, and that's what workshop is about. Also, of course, we work with people with.
Now, before we go to also, you said something a moment ago, and I want to really put a pin in it. You talked about the children. You know, when COVID came and kids couldn't go to school, so they started working at home, and they worked at home using a lot of computers. And young kids on these computers, and when they're not on the computers, they're on their iPads, and they're watching videos and so forth on those iPads. So what? How does this expand the probability of them having problems, or are we seeing any results of that so far with our children?
It's a real pandemic, my friend. It's a real pandemic. Let me go back, for example, to other countries. In Hong Kong, there were, in the 80s, 1982 research, 62% of the kids were wearing glasses because they used computers from young age. In Tibet, rural Tibet, where there was no education, now the Chinese government puts education in Quebec, in Tibet. But then only 3% of the children were nearsighted. In Sao Paulo, Brazil, 48% of the kids are nearsighted. And in the Amazon, 1%. So to go on and on, right now in South Korea, 94% of the people have glasses. 94%.
94%.
In South Korea. So now in the US, the amount of people who need glasses have grown by 20%. It's huge. And, you know, in the past, in your age and my age, when we were in the school, if we wore glasses, they would call us four eyes or would call us glasses. And because we were so few in a big class. Now having glasses is like having a hat. Basically, it's a regular thing. And it shouldn't be. I mean, I tell you right now, if the nurse tells the mom, send your kid to get glasses, don't. Read my books, work with my books, come to my webinars. By the way, I have a free webinar on January 31st, 11 o'clock Pacific time, which is again 2 o'clock Eastern time. Learn how to get the child to see better. There's many reasons why kids wear glasses. One of them is emotional, okay? You sit at home, you feel that you are in some sort of confinement, even though you're not. The body feels that way, even if you got used to it. And that is, that makes you not to really want to look at anything. I'll tell you things from the past that always happen. Teenage years is when many, many teenagers wear glasses because you know, you fall in love, your hormones came up, and you're really thinking about the girl or you think about the boy that is really attracting you, and you don't look at anything else. Guess what? Your vision starts to deteriorate. The best thing, instead of going to the nurse and getting glasses, is teach them relaxation of the eyes, like we teach palming of the eyes. Teach them to look at the distance. Teach them relaxation exercises. And you know what? The vision will come back like brand new. Now, I'll never forget another age. There's a lady who took my training course in Colorado in the Far Pass in the 90s. And she said that during her divorce, which was a nasty divorce, she saw everything through fog and started to not see well.
Mm.
And her friends told her, go get measured and go get glasses. She refused. 2 months later, I guess the heartache became a little bit less severe. All this disappeared, and in her 70s, she's rating the menu to people in their 40s who are wearing glasses now. Okay? So what I want to say is that I think that our treatment is really, which is encouraged by the medical profession, is encouraged because they don't see a way out. So when your doctor says, oh, you must wear glasses and wear them all the time so you don't strain your eyes. Yes, if you wear your glasses all the time, you take them off, you may strain your eyes if you got used to a certain vision. But if at first they will tell you, look at the distance, relax, do the palming where you rub your hands, put your hands around your eye orbits, be in the sun. For example, I was about to drive here, but I decided to walk because after a lot of rain, I walked early in the rain today. There was so much sun, I couldn't allow myself to drive here. I walked for 20 minutes. So what I wanted to say, it is so important to go back to nature and to be a part of nature. Look what happens to nature. You know that the Bedouins in the desert have amazing vision. In fact, I know that the Israeli army doesn't use them to fight, but use them to actually look and observe what's there, because their eyes is so much better than the eyes of all those soldiers that are basically 19-year-old that looked all the time at phones and tablets. So the point is that vision really relates to what you do with it. And from childhood, we have to work on ourselves. But let's go to our 40s. You were readers, and you see well with readers. You'll need to have stronger readers all the time. Guess what? 20 years later, you have cataracts. Okay, they'll remove your lens, no problem. Guess what? Then you can have retinal problems. I'm saying work with the physiotherapy for the eyes and prevent all those problems in the first place. And later on in the program, I would love to talk about low vision, people who actually have no chance of seeing 20/20, that the vision is poor, but they are neglected because nobody believes that they can see better.
That is really awesome. So now, the glaucoma, the cataracts, these things are increased by doing a lot of looking at computers.
Absolutely. Your eye becomes longer when you're nearsighted. And what happens is, physiologically, the vitreous fluid starts to fill in the vitreous area in the eye between the retina and the lens. And so the eye becomes longer. And therefore, when the light falls on the retina, it basically falls in front of the retina. Just like if you have a screen and you put your projector, and the light could fall in front of the screen. Now, if you start with nearsightedness, start with glasses. Normally, they're stronger than you need to start with them because, somebody is fitting your glasses, you're tense, and they don't understand that when you're tense, you see worse. So you're tense, you see worse. You put the glasses on, you become dizzy, and you call your optician, you say, I'm becoming dizzy, the glasses don't fit me. He says to you, or she says to you, adjust. How do you adjust? You lengthen your eye a bit more. Then you're adjusting. Okay. So the point that I am saying, which is very, very important, is don't start with glasses. Start with eye exercises. Only if they fail, then wear glasses. But I would say even then, on and off rather than all the time. And you're being advised normally these days to wear them all the time.
So when again is this seminar?
The seminar is on the 22nd of February, 22 to 27th, and it is a 6-day eye class. You have a good friend in WPFW, Marsha Coleman. She took it. They offered her a laser surgery to drain her glaucoma, and she refused. After taking my seminar, she went back and they told her, we're not doing any more tests. We think we should do the procedure. She said, I'll pay for it if needed. They tested her again and they canceled the procedure. And she definitely improved the vision. And in fact, one point, they even diagnosed that maybe the glaucoma was a mistake. That's because they don't believe it can be cured. But truth of the matter is it can be. A macular degeneration can be cured. But, you know, I remember somebody had macular degeneration in his 90s, and he came and worked with me. Then he went to another office and they told him that was a mistake. I thought about changing the name of our school from School for Self-Healing to School for Spontaneous Remission. Because
spontaneous remission.
Because people get better, but the medical profession doesn't acknowledge that. And that's a big problem. If they will acknowledge that, and they will let people work naturally on seeing better, we will eliminate 99% of our problems, basically. There's physiotherapy for the legs, there's physiotherapy for the arms, but they didn't invent physiotherapy for seeing and for hearing, and those exist.
Yeah, healing is not in their business plan.
No.
That's, you know, and it's, you know, most of the people who are listening have some issues with their eyes.
Yes.
And what you're saying is that, one, you can prevent it from getting worse, and two, you can actually reverse, in many instances, what's already there.
And you can prevent so many problems by strengthening your vision. So many problems. Modify them or prevent them. I want to give you one little example of something much worse than regular nearsightedness. I had a nice lady. In fact, I wrote about it in my book, Movement for Self-Healing, that people can read. It was called in the past Self-Healing, My Life and Vision. I may return to that name. But now it's Movement for Self-Healing. And it's actually a book that sold pretty good. And that case is a very interesting one. This lady came to me from a native village in Canada. And as you see, many people come to me from all over the world to San Francisco, including the country of DC, where Marsha came from, you know. Anyway, so what happens is she complained, or her mother complained, that her left eye has 20% vision. It's 2200, and she's legally blind. She can read, but from near. Her right eye sees color and light, but no shapes. Okay, so we sat down and we chit-chat, and we were really having fun. And she read on the chart 2100, which is 40% of normal vision. And the mother said, I went to all the different doctors in Canada, the best doctors in Canada, and none of the ophthalmologists said that she can see 2100. I said, you're seeing what she's seeing on this line. I said, the difference is she's relaxed with me. And indeed, that wonderful girl or woman, she was 18, you know, was very happy with me and relaxed. And then we went to a dark room. It was very, very interesting. We went to a dark room, which is a very good room for vision clients. We put even 2 patches and masking tape around her left eye that sees, and turn lights that would go on and off. Now, at first, she could see there is light. Then she could see the color. But what surprised me, since I waited a while, something that no doctor did, she started to see the lamp. That surprised me. And then she saw the face of her father and mother, the two assistants I had, and myself. And I said, that's amazing.
So her eyes adjusted to the darkness.
The eye adjusted to the darkness, adjusted to light, and adjusted to seeing. That eye was asleep for 18 years.
18 years.
Yeah, so we took her out, and she was able to read the 5%, the 2400 line. We got her on the trampoline, got her to bounce. She was very uncomfortable. She was very athletic with her body, but uncomfortable to bounce with a patch, or two patches in this case, over her left seeing eye. She caught and threw balls. We walked and saw the signs in the street. Next year, she returned to create fusion with the two eyes, and she ended up with vision of starting at 20% of 75% of normal vision. So somebody would remain legally blind for the rest of her life, with all the doctors thinking, and we're talking not about doctors, caliber of doctors, thinking that she will always be almost completely blind, not even see fingers in the right eye, see only 20% in the left eye. And by the way, it probably will diminish more and more. By waking up, the eye that she thought, her mother thought, her father thought, the doctors thought cannot see, by stimulating it with light in the dark and creating connection between the brain and that eye, her latent potential came to fruition. And the result was much better vision. And her mom was so grateful to me. So was her father. And they were wonderful people from a wonderful...
Dr. Schneider, I'm getting ready to start a class on diabetes. And one of the things that I talk about is that type 2 diabetes is the number one cause of adult blindness. Now, what I know in your book, the last book that you wrote, what is it, Healing?
Awakening Your Power of Self-Healing.
Yeah, Awakening Your Power of Self-Healing. You dealt with more than just vision. You dealt with the whole body. So, what would you say about the diabetes and the vision?
Can I talk to you first about diabetes and then about vision?
Yes.
Okay. So first of all, there are two problems in diabetes. And by the way, I think anyone who will take a class from Dr. Watkins will be very smart to do it because he works on very good diet. But returning to me, the two problems we have with diabetes is, number one, poor insulin production or lack of insulin production. Number two, and insulin is very important because it brings the sugar molecules into cells. And in the cells, the sugar and oxygen meet and they create energy. The molecule of energy is called ATP. Sorry for bringing all of you to that explanation. But anyway, there's a secondary problem to diabetes, and it's called circulation. There's a big problem with people with diabetes that the circulation is very, very poor. And therefore, wound healing is very poor. They sometimes get gangrenes of the legs. Sometimes they lose their kidneys. And they get heart problems and many, many other problems because of diabetes. The solution for that, everybody should hear it, is bone tappement.
Bone what?
Bone tappements. You tap on the bones. I would recommend that everybody will have Bunger Bowl and tap on the bones on a regular basis. Bone tappements. Also, being in jacuzzi is good. Being under a shower is good. A massage shower in every bone of your body. And of course, sitting in jets is very good. And also, another thing which is very good is when you can tolerate the cold, to stand in the wind and let the wind hit you. And when it's warm, to go to the sea and to get waves to hit your body. It's a wonderful thing for the body. But the best is the body work which we do. I don't call it massage but it's like massage. We do body work for the purpose of waking up hematopoiesis, they call it, or blood production. And that can prevent 90% of the side effects of diabetes. So that's number one. Number two, diabetic retinopathy, and not only type 2 diabetes, that type 1 diabetes is also bad, very bad. Diabetic retinopathy does lead to blindness, because what happens is you don't get enough blood flowing to the retina. So then the retina, in order to survive, will produce new blood vessels. They're not perfect. So because they're imperfect, they leak. And they leak blood that destroys the sensitive photoreceptors of the retina. So first of all, again, go and learn the diet at Dr. Watkins' class, but also be very busy in walking, doing impact, aerobic, tapping on your bones, bringing more blood. That's number one. But number two, you have to do eye exercises. They'll bring much more circulation to your eyes, much more stimulation to your eyes, because what happens is with diabetes, you don't lose your vision gradually. You lose it all at once. One day you wake up and the central vision in one eye is gone. Normally it is peripheral vision, and they used to do laser treatments to get rid of those capillaries. It worked for a while. And now they do injections. That works for a while. But what happens is, eventually, the problem is that the blood doesn't come to the retina. And when you don't have enough blood in the retina, then there is a growth of bad vessels that are not well completed, and they leak. And there is very little the doctors can do with it on the long term. They can do something on the short term. Of course, if you're bleeding, go and get the injection. In the past, I would even say go and get the laser. But I like to warn you, that's a very, very simplified and short-term solution. The long-term solution is look at my book, Vision for Life, and follow the principles in it, like allowing the light to come in easily, relaxing your eyes, paying attention to light and dark, looking at details, expanding your periphery, looking at a distance, and balancing the use of the eye. You're not going to do that, my friend, and you're looking for deterioration upon deterioration.
All right. Brother Frank has a little blurb he's gonna play. We also want to, and you're on mute, Brother Frank. We also want to make sure that if you have questions for Dr. Schneider, that you call. The number here, of course, is 202-588-0893. That's 202-588-0893.
Hello, dear friends. My name is Dr. Theodore Watkins, and I have some shocking news for you today. Over 50% of adult Black Americans have diabetes or prediabetes, and most of them don't even know. Diabetes mellitus is the 7th leading cause of death in this country. It is also the leading cause of kidney failure, of amputation, and of adult blindness. But for you, there is some good news. Diabetes is reversible. The monster that diabetes has been for you in the past can end in our program entitled End Diabetes Now. For you, there'll be no more needles, pills, or daily glucose checks. For you, there'll be no more blindness, no more amputations, and no more kidney failure. We've developed this dynamic program, and the next class, which is a 12-week class, starts on January the 29th. What you can do is go to our website, which is twiliving.com/N. That's TWILiving.com/N. or you can call 202-388-0992 and register today. We also suggest that you spread the word and share with your neighbors, friends, and relatives, and let them know that they too can end their diabetes now. Thank you very much.
You know, it's really sad that so many people are sick, and with a combination of what you're doing and what we're doing, there could be revolutionary changes in the community. A couple of weeks ago, we talked about the fact that one of the problems is that people don't realize that they can change, Doc. You know, they've come to accept illness, accept premature death, accept all these disabilities, and that's, you know, for me is really a very terrible thing. But once again, the number is 202-588-0893. That's 202-588-0893. Let's go to our phone. Just call her. You're on the line.
Yes, sir. How you doing today?
Doing extremely well.
I'm doing fantastic. You know, I'm seeing the difference between me being 69 and me being 60. When I was 60 and there was rain, I ran with a bathing suit in the rain. First of all, some people thought I was homeless. Other people thought I was crazy. But the whole neighborhood saw me running in the rain, going and bathing in the ocean. Now I'm kind of lazy. I go in the rain with a coat and an umbrella. But these days, I don't bathe in the ocean when it's cold. I only bathe when it's warm. But San Francisco warm is 68 degrees. It's not like DC warm, 80 or 90, you know. And I walk for about 50 blocks as a result of what I've done in the past. So I can tell you, I feel excellent, and I'm so happy to always meet Dr. Watkins. It's a wonderful thing to be on his show. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it. I want to ask you about putting stents in the eye, and that old adage about eating carrots make your eye better. I'll take it off there. Thank you.
Well, sometimes it's necessary. It depends if, for example, a surgery is done in the eye and like a cataract surgery, and there's a risk of glaucoma, then I understand why they put it, but you have many restrictions. You cannot swim, you cannot bend too much, all kinds of things are restricted. It's a good temporary solution. It's not good forever. Now, carrots is a wonderful thing for the eye. I drink carrot juice, but carrot juice that I make myself on the spot. I think buying juices from store, even the ones that were made naturally, it's already a few days old. It's really good to drink something that you made 5 minutes ago.
All right. Fantastic. Let's go back to our phones. Jeff Caller, you're on the line.
Temporary solution.
Yes, hello.
Forever, not
Yes.
Okay, hi. My name is Diane.
Turn your radio off. Turn your radio off.
Yes, I'm about to do that now. Yes. Okay. Hi. Yes, my name is Diane, and I'm outside of Philadelphia, and I was diagnosed in. Hello?
We're hearing you.
Oh, hi. Good. I was diagnosed in 2021 with cataracts in my right and left eye, but mostly in my right eye, and I'm very nearsighted. So it's very progressed. So I wanted to know what I should do, because I have white coat syndrome, what they call white coat syndrome. So I am afraid of, what happens when I go into try.
Let me ask you a question. If you close your left eye, if you cover your left eye, how well do you see with your right eye?
Pretty darn well, actually. It's
So
not
don't
bad.
even think about a surgery if you see well. We have some, if you look at our website, www.self-healing.org, we have wonderful 5 courses online And you can also get my book, Vision for Life. And there's a nice video companion that can come with it. You won't find it in Amazon because we kind of home produced it. So you can contact us. Again, same kind of email, www.self-healing.org. And you can definitely get enough work to do to get rid of it. And also, maybe if you are motivated and are able to do it, get rid of the cold weather you have and come to San Francisco to a moderate weather on the 22nd of February. We can send you a list of housing, and you can have 6 days of working intensively on getting yourself to see better. Because the end of the day, the most important thing is, do you see well? And are the eyes working together? So if we help the eyes to work together, and if you see well, that's all that counts.
Wow, that's great. Wow, thank you so much. I appreciate all of that.
My pleasure.
There was a patient, and you may remember, or it was about 3 years. It was right before COVID. She came to me. Actually, she came because she had some non-healing wounds on her leg, and a mutual friend said, "You need to go see Dr. Watkins. He can help you." But when she came, I observed that she was blind, and so I said, "Now I can help you with the lesions on your leg." You know, when I was in surgery, I was pretty good at helping those things to heal. But you know, if you don't mind, I'd like to see if we can do something to help with your eyes. And so I did two major things. One, I changed her diet, and two, I gave her Dr. Schneider's phone number. Now, I must admit, I wasn't sure that she was going to call Dr. Schneider, but I felt it was my obligation to at least tell her that there was potential for her to be able to see better. And so to my surprise, when she came back, the first time I had to lead her in my office with her holding my elbow, Dr. Schneider. When she came back, she was coming in so fast with that stick. I said, "You can see." She said, "Yes." I went back to my ophthalmologist, and he said that my pressures were down, but that I could still take the medicine. I called and had a meeting with Dr. Schneider, and actually was going to go to San Francisco, but the COVID came, and so she wasn't able to go. I said, "No, if you are going to stick with our program, then you don't have to do the medication. But if you're not, then you need to do the medicine." Well, she was one of the first patients I saw online, you know, telemedicine. And she told me that she'd gone back to the ophthalmologist again, and not only was her glaucoma reversed, the doctor said that the surgical ophthalmologist said that it would do more harm than good to operate on your eyes because the cataracts had gotten so small. And so here's a classic example of someone who within months reversed glaucoma and reversed cataracts following the dietary plan and Dr. Schneider's program.
Woohoo!
Wonderful. Yeah.
Incredible.
So there's hope for the hopeless. What do you say, Dr. Schneider?
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm so proud of you. And I remember once you told the story that your eyes were very tired and you almost gave up ready to drink coffee, which you'd never do. And then you look at the distance, as I instruct so many people, and you relax and were able to drive further. Do you remember that?
Yeah. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
It's fantastic. So anyway, one thing that I want to say is that we should not neglect people whose vision is very low, like 1% vision, and they walk with canes. For example, I have a lady who lost a lot of one eye, became completely blind, except I learned she could see light. So we do a light work with her. And she comes to me once a month because she can be driven in that time. And she reads with half of the other eye. And she magnifies the letters about 20 times their size so she can read. And she's a top executive in a company. We're going to put her on Instagram because she definitely talked to us and she wants to be known for that. So, and she also, she also was considered to be legally blind for good because that's how much she needs to increase those letters. And she's studying literature right now. Imagine, she's a top executive in a big company and she's studying literature with that little vision. Well, whenever she works with me, she decreases the size of the letters. So first it was 20 times bigger than normal. Now it's about 8 times bigger than normal. It went way down, and her vision of things around her got so much better. She has also a blind husband who doesn't have his eyes, you know, so there is where I cannot really help in that sense. Other senses, yes. But she's so enthused, and I'm so enthused about her. We have to know that those things are possible. I gave a workshop in Barcelona. Then I took the train and gave another workshop in Paris to practitioners who already do vision improvement work, some of them ophthalmologists and optometrists who are betraying their profession, or let's put it this way, are ahead of their profession and are starting to do things naturally that their profession doesn't. I taught them how to work with low vision clients. We had 17 people in Barcelona whose vision improved dramatically. And we had 8 people in Paris where their vision have improved dramatically. And I'm so proud of the fact that we're starting to get to the low vision community. We're not expecting them to see 20/20. We're not expecting them to reverse course. But in some cases, yes. And in most cases, we get them to improve. And when you do nothing, you don't do your eye exercises, you don't do what needs to be done. I've seen it to my own eyes and devastation. Vision decreases constantly.
So about how much a day would a person have to exercise to get improvement in their vision?
So it depends on the problem, and it depends on the consciousness of the person. In some ways, you're aware of your eyes 24 hours a day, or at least 16 hours when you're awake. You're aware how you blink and that you don't want the eyes to strain. You sometimes stand and you move from side to side for about a few seconds to make sure that you don't strain. But basically, I would say that if you're legally blind, the work is for about 2 or 2.5 hours a day, and you divide it into sections. And if you have normal vision, for the first 3 months, it's 2.5 hours a day, and then it drops down to 1 hour a day and even 45 minutes.
You know, it's funny. I thought about you this morning. I was driving home from taking my son to the airport. It was about 4:30, 4:45, and the road was dark. And you know, it was I was putting my brights off and on, but I don't like to put my brights on when someone else is coming. And I just blinked my eyes, and all of a sudden, it's like the road just opened up. You know, just that simple one-time blinking made such a difference.
Absolutely. But
in
you're
the
going to
vision.
have people looking at a text in a computer and not paying attention to the fact that they're not blinking. And that's a very big problem. So you want to observe yourself. You want to be present in your own life and sense, am I looking from detail to detail, or am I not looking from detail to detail?
All right. So people who have glaucoma, people who have cataracts, people who have various problems with their eyes, if they feign, they can get improvement. Now, as I mentioned earlier, you don't just work with the eyes. You have people exercising their necks, exercising their feet. I mean, what's all that about?
Well, most of blinding problems, just like you mentioned with diabetic type 2, but even diabetic type 3, when you still produce your insulin, but somehow it doesn't work well, you can have a lot of problems. It's a result of poor blood flow to the head. And what makes people have poor blood flow to the head is stiff neck. And the neck connects to the rest of the body. In a way, unless you have full mobility in the rest of your body, the neck is tense. I'll give you an example. Most people cannot move their toes much because we confine our toes in shoes and we walk on cement. And I paid attention that when I try to get people to move their toes one by one, they can't do it. But you know, Jimi Hendrix was able to play guitar with his toes, right?
Oh boy.
Some people with short arms or no arms can feed themselves with the toes. But we forgot that our toes can work. So if your toes are weak, your ankles will be stiff because the flesh of the foot, much of it is the muscles of the toes. And so the ankles to hold the toes will get stiff, and then the knees will get stiff, and then the hips will get stiff, and then the lower back will get stiff, which will affect digestion and peristalsis. The middle back will get stiff, which will affect breathing and heart circulation. And then your shoulders will get stiff, which will affect blood flow to your hands. And then the neck and the jaw get stiff. And when that happens, not enough blood comes to the ears and to the eyes. People tell me I have tinnitus. I said, well, first of all, which is, you know, ringing in the ears, loosen up your neck. That's number one. So if you don't loosen up your neck, how will you get good blood flow to the head in a natural way? So learning to loosen up the neck is important. That's why we have 200,000 massage therapists in this country trying to give massage in every airport and in every supermarket because
Every boat.
People have stiff neck. But
so look here, we're running out of time. Actually, we've run out of time. So I want you to tell people again when and where is this seminar that you're doing?
So it's in San Francisco, in our beautiful place, which is right by the beach. We're using the beach as the biggest place in our place. We're getting eye charts on easels there, and we're practicing. Normally, people within 6 days see 4 lines better. And we let them stand from whichever distance works for them, whether it is 5 feet, 10 feet, 20 feet, whatever works for them. And from there, they improve the vision greatly. We get them to stand where they see half of the chart, but not the bottom half. We help them improve their periphery. We help them improve their central vision. And as I said, they see 4 lines better. We help people to find housing. We don't provide housing, but we are in a very pleasant place. And many people stay in our place at the end of the class to socialize. Friendships are happening for life because they pass through a huge experience of improvement. And some people come even for private sessions after the sessions. And I don't know if we have time, but maybe I'll leave it for next show. I want to tell you about the best case I had with legal blindness.
I think I understand we have a couple more minutes there, Brother Frank.
Yeah, we're going in overtime now.
All right, tell us that story in 2 minutes.
Okay. So this girl had, you know, my kids had cataract surgery, cataract like I was. It's unusual. Only 1 out of 20,000 children are born with cataracts. So my kids had cataracts, and like me. And I had terrible surgeries. It looks like somebody stepped with a foot over a lens and broke it. But my kids had the surgeries on time. However, this girl, and by the way, their vision is better than anyone who was ever born with cataract, because they combine eye exercises with the surgery in the right time that allowed their brain to develop on time. This girl, Marlies from Germany, had cataract, but they didn't diagnose it in the right time. So they only operated 11 weeks. 8 weeks is the last week you can operate it before they get terrible nystagmus, which is an involuntary movement of the eye, where basically the brain forgot about seeing. Okay. So her mother brought her to me at the age of 2.5. She wasn't looking at anything, but she did whatever we asked her to do. Look here, look there. And we kept working, and the doctors were pessimistic, said that she will have to succumb to the fact that she will be nearly blind. And we worked again. Her mother flies to San Francisco. She flew to Canada. She flew to Israel. She flew to different parts of Europe. Anywhere I was. She even thinking about flying to Brazil. Well, be on May, or here to San Francisco. But she every year works with me for 20 sessions. And once I decided I'm coming to her hometown, and we worked, and she started to look at details. And two things struck me. First of all of a sudden, she saw the addresses of houses around her. She by then was 8.5. She said, I did not know the other house has an address number on it. And then she looked at flowers in her backyard. She counted the petals, and she started to move out after all these years of work, 6 years of work. She moved out from being legally blind to legally sighted. And it's not only a question of acuity, she started to look at things, change the direction in her brain. That's a biggie.
Change the direction in the brain.
Yeah.
By doing these exercises.
Yes.
Fantastic, fantastic. Well, I've personally seen in my patients and others that we can make a difference if we're willing. And so I'm going to encourage those who can to get out there and work with Dr. Schneider. If you can't, you need to contact this office and get started. Someone said beginning, I believe it was sure that beginning is half done. So let's get started. Let's get to work. Let's change the statement that I made earlier about vision being the biggest problem when it comes to the senses. And let's make it that all of our vision is better. We can do it. We know. Brother Frank, any closing remarks?
Don't forget about Dr. Schneider's free class, January 31st, and call his office for those details, or look on his website, self-healing.org. And don't forget about Docs in Diabetes Now class coming up on the 29th. Is that right, Doc?
That's correct.
Okay, go to twiliving.com or call his office number at 202-388-0992. Thank you, Kalia, and all of the WPFW staff for what you do. We want to thank Joni as well, and stay tuned for next Monday at 2 o'clock for another life-saving broadcast of To Your Health.
All right, Dr. Schneider.
That was great, wasn't it?
Yes, yes, yes.
Can you leave my numbers? If anyone call you to ask for my number, can you give me my phone number at the school?
Yes, we will.
Yeah.
And I'm going to have to get you to speak a few minutes to one of my classes, my diabetic classes.
I would love to.
We do a Zoom, and I think you could really add a lot to what we're going to be teaching them.
Fantastic. It was so nice to be with you. It's nice to talk to you no matter what.
Always, always, always. All right, Brother Frank.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr.
Thank
Schneider.
you, Frank. Thank you so much.
All right. And thanks, Cal, too.
Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye now.
Bye now.